Hello, Alex, and welcome to Habits HQ. I'm really excited for our conversation today. We are going to be talking about 5 habits of business strategy. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. Slightly wet socks from the rain, but I can live with that. Yeah, for say the sun's not shining, but
yeah, it's nice. It's a nice day here in Chester. I went to see the National last night in Manchester and absolutely poured down. So I'm just about dried off from that.
Amazing. Right. So today is our lunchtime conversation, so people can tune in, have a listen to the things that in your head that when you talk to your customers that you share with them. We're looking at 5 habits of business strategy, and we're thinking about small business, aren't we? We're not thinking about Amazon. We're thinking about people just starting out in their business and what they should be thinking about. So with that in mind, what is habit number 1 people should be thinking about?
So I would say keep it simple, straight from the outset. That's
Okay.
number 1 habit. If you're depending on the size of organization, so if you're a couple, we'll just say you're starting out the first few years, you already got your first few customers, you're moving forward. So 5 for me would be 1, keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Collaboration.
Okay.
Collaboration is key. Working with each other and working with others. Communication.
Mm-hmm.
Visibility. And planning and review. Review is key.
Cool.
So I've got 6 there.
You got 6. Okay, so shall we deep dive into the first one?
Yeah.
Keep it simple. So can you give me, so if I was your customer, I'd come to you and say, hey, Alex, I need some help with my strategy. You can say, Mike, I want you to keep it simple. I want you to think about, what am I thinking about?
Yeah, so you can keep it simple. So I've got, there's two elements here. You can keep it simple, and people to keep it simple, way too simple. Right. So I have people come to me and say, I want to grow my business. Okay. What do you want to do? I want to be I want to work in the UK, and I want to grow from, I'm in London, and I want to grow up to work into Scotland. And they don't have a plan of how they're going to get there, where the customers are coming from. So there's keeping it simple and there's keeping it real as well, I'd say. So yes, you want to grow, but where and how? So that's the one thing really. So it's actually getting into that deep diving, understanding the what you want to get to, and when and how. You know, it's and this is what I mean by keeping it simple. You can literally, I think so much stuff out there now on the internet, and you can just go on to HBR or any kind of websites and just look at it and go, how do I grow my business or strategy? And it's just a minefield of data and information at you. And it would just be too complicated. And I found over the years doing this, it's just take it back to basics. What do you want to do? Why? And let's see how we're going to get there.
Yeah. Nice. I like it. And I think he said something really interesting there as well. He said you can go off and read lots of things like Harvard Business Review. You can, there's go to YouTube, right? Everyone, it's all there. And I find one of the challenges with the keeping it simple is actually sticking to one concept or one idea, because you can read a different book each week, right? And you can be right. I'm going to be really simple, and this week I'm going to do this thing, and then I'm going to do another thing and another thing. And you are keeping it simple, but you aren't actually keeping it focused on one simple thing.
No,
you're being pulled off into lots of different things that actually lead to their own complexity and lead to inconsistency.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think that's key. I mean, just literally what you just said there is keeping it focused. So when we say, like, a lot of people when they start out or looking at anything with a strategy, you've got that one target in place, and a lot of things is either grow the business or I need to employ more people, and that's, I suppose, one statement. And then for me, it's delving into that, really getting into it, understanding it. But again, but just trying to keep it simple.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's one thing. Keeping it simple.
I like that. And you've almost segued into another one of your points. So habit number 2 you've got is collaboration, and you spoke about employing people.
Yeah.
So tell us about collaboration and how that shows up for these small businesses and people.
In collaboration point, I mean, I've worked with businesses for years, and a lot of people tend to, when the strategy comes about or they're looking at a strategy, they tend to like huddle it together in a boardroom type scenario, you know, and not really opening it up to the rest of the organization. Now, don't get me wrong, not everybody can have the final input, but to collaborate with everybody and understand your strengths, your weaknesses, what lies, what, you know, from each of the employer and outside your network, what can you be doing, and how can you effectively manage your strategy better, should we say, or get to your end goal quicker, or actually get to your end goal as you wanted it. So collaboration to me is key, and working together and working in. I've done this before, and people work in silos and they work in a cold room by themselves, and they go, oh, okay, we've got our business strategy here, and they've had no input from anybody else, and people read it and just go, you know, what's this? I didn't think we were doing this, you know, and there's no buy-in. All right, so as soon as you've got no buy-in from any of the employees, or even if your customers or your supply chain, you know, if there's no collaboration in that, you're just a solo but running by yourself. You can just think of all the kind of businesses that have kind of failed, or they've developed a new product and it's kind of like flopped because they haven't collaborated. And, you know, collaboration can be many things. It's market testing, it's understanding did your customers actually want this, what you're doing, you know? So yeah, that's what I think for collaboration is for me.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like the collaboration bit and who you work with is really important. I know we think about small business, but you think about the KFC, the chickenless KFC that was a few years ago. That was they partnered with someone and they got it wrong. Their new partner couldn't fulfill.
They ran out of chicken, didn't they?
They ran out of chicken. But that was a partnership change, and that was really like.
Sorry,
you carry on.
Yeah, that's a really good point, right? So I don't know the ins and out of that story, and there must be so much into that. But that probably would be, we need, you know, the strategy, we need to effectively save money, you know, greater margins, profit, all these great buzzwords, if you like, you know. And I know some accountants, they're not buzzwords, they're the right words, but, you know, basically we need to make more money. And then someone would have come up and gone, well, we can get this supplier. And it's, you know, and again, they probably wouldn't have collaborated correctly or managed the effectively timelines between one supplier to the other. And the whole business model goes under, you know. And what could have been KFC would have been literally, do you not remember they had people ringing police saying there's no chicken here at KFC?
Huge. Yeah, amazing. But it shows, it really is that important, especially with a small business, right? You can, it's the juice, because sometimes you've got the option of cheap, and you've got well, you've got how much are you paying to, because collaboration might be the pro bono stuff, a skill exchange, but there's also that actually when you need to start working with people, you need to make a conscious choice. What do you want to pay, and what quality are you expecting? Because you can outsource anything to anywhere in the world right now, pretty much. Yet it will vary your return based on how diligent you are around either what you share as your expectation or what you're going to actually invest, because those both really affect collaboration.
So collaboration is, to me, it can make or break your business or your strategy, you know, because if you're not collaborating with the right people or discussed it, then it's just a piece of paper with some words on.
Yeah, love it. Okay, so we're 2 in. So we've done, because you gave me the surprise one first, you gave the keep it simple. We've had collaboration. What's number 3?
Right, so we've got, from here, we've got communication, planning, visibility, and review. So I'm just going to go to planning. Planning really is the effect. Strategy isn't a planning that we all, and people say that, you know, but you need to know from the A to the B how we're going to get there. So the planning is key to me, of having, where I've seen it fail in the past is there's no milestones, there's no kind of dead points. It's just we're going to grow our business by 50% from 24 to 25, and there's no like gaps. There's no like, you know, stop in time and say, when's this are we gonna stop and review? That's planning. It's like, and it's actually, I used to put all mine, and I still do, into Gantt charts because I'm a project manager by trade. And it works. It really does. And again, but keeping it simple, not having too many actions and objectives, but planning it effectively. Who's going to do what and when? Again, goes back to collaboration, understanding your people, understanding who you're working with, understanding the strengths and weaknesses. But planning it out is key, because so many people, and then it becomes realistically. It becomes really realistic, because again, keeping it simple. If you don't plan it effectively, you go, yeah, we're going to grow our business, or we're going to enter a new market by the end of 25, and you start to plan it out, and you go, yeah, in order to achieve that, we're going to have to invest X more millions, or, you know, we're going to invent a new technology to do that. So many people fail in that sense because they actually haven't effectively planned it. Building houses, how many times have you seen, you know, people build houses, and it's always like, you ever seen those programs like 3 months out, well, I'm going to do this in 3 months, and like, really, you haven't actually planned it, you know? And you know, they go back to them 6 months later and they still haven't fitted a door, you know, or they haven't actually spoken to the electricians. So again, but it all comes back to it. So all these intricate little parts in a strategy, in a plan, have to be put together. So yeah, planning is key. Planning is key.
Okay, nice. And so, what's the difference between a plan and a strategy? If you're like, because they often get conflated and confused. How would you define them? What do you?
Strategy is the hypothesis of how you're going to get somewhere. So it's what you want to do. It's not a new modern world. Everyone used to think, you know, it's, people started using it in the 1970s and 80s in business. You know, it's become a buzzword still, really. You know, people have strategy, you know, I'm director of strategy. Geez, everybody, like a CEO, really is the owner of that strategy of the business. So the strategy is your, not using the North Star, where you're going to get to, how you're going to get there. And your project plan, your plan is effectively the plan. How are you going to do it? It's the how. The strategy is the what. The plan is the how.
Nice. Okay.
So, but they are two different things. Totally different.
Totally different. Yeah, because a strategy might be that we are only going to the catch and the cards thing, isn't it? Now it's a strategy. Actually, we only want to engage with people that are going to pay by card.
Yeah,
and actually, the strategy is you only want to go to, because then it allows you to do other things within your business, because then you don't need to have people dropping money to the bank late at night, paying those fees, and that is a strategy in itself, isn't it? Is that actually we want to reduce that additional spend around cash handling? That is a strategy, and the plan is to be. And then your plan is, well, how do we execute?
How do we execute it? Yeah, it's the execution of what you want to do. I think, if I remember correctly from my days of studying it, strategy came from the Greek word strategos. And it was literally, like, the Romans were fantastic at it. It was literally, how do we move our infantry from A to B? Do you go over the mountain or do you go around the mountain? You know, and that's key, and that's what strategy is, and it's the execution of the plan. The plan is the execution. But yeah, plan. So many strategies fail because someone's got an idea. They go, "It's what we're going to do. We're really good at this," and they go, "Okay," and then they don't actually plan it out how they're going to. You know, when it comes to the end of the year, and they go, "Oh shit, we haven't done that, or we've gone off and done something different." You know?
Yeah. No, and that's the worst one, isn't it? When you get to the end of the year and you think you've achieved something, you've achieved something that felt nice.
Yeah.
Actually, long term doesn't serve you, your strategy, or your business. That's the
Yeah, and that the next two really are key, like the communication review. So I'll go back to communication. I mean, how many businesses share their strategy with all their workforce? Now, if we talk about a medium-sized organization, 10 to 100 people, you've got a large organization, thousands. Bigger businesses are better at doing it now, and they kind of share their strategy online. And this is our strategic objectives the next 5 years. Banks tend to do it, or financial institutions, or big PLCs. But communication of where you are going as a business is to me is key, because everybody plays a part in delivering your business plan, your strategy, down to the receptionist, the cleaner, to the CEO, to the project manager, to the director of the businesses. Because if you don't have the plan or the objective where you want to get to, how's anybody going to speak your business language? Retail's key for that, because you know the shop front, the sort of the high street, when you go into a Marks and Spencer's or Boots, they should know where they're going. What's our objective? Where do we want to get to? What kind of feeling do I want my customers to get from this?
And there's so much collaboration now, isn't there? With especially logistics, obviously, like that. And I was thinking about it, it's just dropped his mind. So in a previous incarnation, I've been Mr. ISO 27001, which isn't my natural place. But also you look at something like B Corp, and they both actually have something quite similar. They both look at intrinsically who you're working with and the values that are aligned. So you need to communicate who you are, understand who they are. And it's all part of that, goes back to that collaboration piece, doesn't it? Is you need to be able to communicate who you are so you can fulfill that strategy. Because if you want to come a B Corp and then you end up working with evil Corp, you're not gonna get your B Corp status, because your suppliers have to have that ethical approach too. So exactly. Someone burning drums of oil in their car park, but no chance.
Yeah, and that's it, right? So that communication's key there. So if you've got like a procurement department, they don't know what your long-term vision and goal is to get to B Corp, then they're going to basically railroad something for a cheaper deal, let's just say, so communication is key. And so many businesses that I work with, they do the strategy and they hold it. We're not telling anybody what. It's like, why the fuck not? Everybody's playing a part in your business. You don't have to tell them intricate details of the final EBITDA you're going to be making or anything like that, but just communicate, because having that language and understanding, you having that buy-in will pay dividends.
Nice.
And you'll keep your staff, or you might just, some of your people that you work with, you might go, this is not an organization that I want to be with anymore, because of, I don't want to work at McDonald's that give me plastic, get rid of plastic straws and paper, but have plastic everywhere else. Do you know what I mean? So it's the communication is key.
Like it. Okay, so almost there. What is our fifth habit?
Review. The reviewing of it. Where you're up to, the status. Without that, it's kind of pointless. If you're only going to review it once a year, how do you know you're on the right track? How do you know you're going to hit what you want to get to and when? So back to the planning side, when you put a plan in place, it's when are we going to review this? You have to do it every week, have to do it every month. There's so much software out there now that you can plan out your strategy. And it can be like a weekly check-in. People get fucking bored of that and they're just going to turn off. But it's kind of like that stop point. It's that milestone check-in. Are we on the right track? Is this the right strategy for us? So that to me is review. It's so what if you're halfway through the year and you go, oof, actually, this isn't right. New policies come in, changing government as we're seeing now. That will affect so many businesses. So the review is key. Doing it once a year.
And how often are you doing with a small business?
I would say every 3 months, depending on the size of the business. 3 months is nice. Check in. You have your normal. If you're talking like a medium-sized organization, most medium-sized organizations have like monthly senior management meetings. Where we're up to, what's happening, etc., etc. And then I would add in every 3 months a strategy section. Now that would not be the same as your senior management meeting. It's a separate. So it's not a case of, where we're up to. It's actually getting it out, understanding it. Are we on target? Is this the right trajectory for our business? It could be anything. It could be like literally what you said then about the B Corp. Everything else is moving away. Right, where we're up to on this. Is this working for us? Are we spending too much? Are we not? What's our competitors doing? What's our peers doing? What do our customers want? So that's the review for me. It's a touch point quarterly. Major reviews probably annual or biennial. Every 2 years maybe. But but you've got your 5-year goal, but then you just refresh it every year. But checking in at a quarterly basis is probably the best habit.
Yeah. I love that. I love your definition there between that. It's not the sort of the weekly health check of the business. It is a quarterly check where you step back, almost stand on the table and look down at everything that's going on. You're trying to stay out of the detail and really focus on the direction where you're going so you can make those changes as quick as you can to make sure that you hit that end of year target on your strategy.
Correct. And I would always advise people to come away from the business. Don't do it in your office. Don't do it in your work, in your normal place. If you've got the funds, go somewhere different, because that makes a massive difference. And I say that because you have your daily interruptions, people walking in, or you in the office. I mean, people go, "Oh, I'll be here with you in a minute. I've just got someone just, Dave just walked in. I just need to speak to Dave." It's like, no, fuck it. This is the day. You come in, you relax. That's what I always do. Just come out of your suits if you're wearing suits. I mean, I don't wear a suit anymore, but come in, be yourself. Let's stop. Let's see where we're going and understand it. And it can literally be half a day, a few hours. It doesn't have to be a full, massive session. But it's stopping, looking. Are we on the right trajectory? Is this working? And do you know what? One thing I think a lot of people think of strategy is like, growth, strategy growth. It doesn't have to be fucking strategy growth. It could be actually I want to stand still. I actually want to stay. I don't want to grow anymore. This is where we're up to. But how do I stand still? How do I retain my staff? How do I? That's all part of it. That's all comes into it.
Because that's all about that bottom line, isn't it? You cannot grow, but you can stabilize your employee base. Because if you're paying recruiter fees at anywhere between 10 and 20%, and you've got a churn, that you're saving yourself money. If you can get those loyal employees to actually focus on making savings within your processes, you are still making money, and actually you are getting a better return for your investment. So a year of consolidation is absolutely a legitimate strategy, especially now in the age of automation. I can imagine if every business stopped this year and they only focused on leveraging the technology that was out in the world and not putting on anything extra onto their business, most businesses would come out better 12 months later than they would at the start by saying, we're going to stop growing and we're going to consolidate and we're going to learn how to automate for a year.
Yeah. How to get efficient, because the efficiency, I used to do efficiency in one of my past roles, and everyone always looks at business efficiency as an evil word because it usually means cost cutting, and it does. It usually means cost cutting, staff cutting. It doesn't have to be. It can actually be reward and recognition. So the savings for efficiency, becoming better at processes, could effectively mean your staff can go home a few hours early in the week. You can give them an extra bonus. You can give them a day off, and I think that comes down to strategy as well. How are we going to retain our staff? We're giving everything we can. We can't do what I saw one the other day for Bank of America. Their what they give their staff is amazing. Some companies just couldn't give everything like that. They basically pay 20 days per child's childcare. They give you like 5 days off on top of your normal days, just in case your child feels a bit ill, duvet day. And if you look at that, you think, we couldn't compete with that. We're a mainstream bank. We can't do that. Well, actually, if you look at things slightly different, collaborate with your staff, what do they want? Because some people might look at them. Let's take Bank of America. It's fantastic. Some of their policies, some of their like working policies. But if you don't have kids, that's pointless. It's all about family oriented. I get that. But if you don't actually have any children, you got older children, well, those things are useless. So actually collaborating with your staff and understanding where they want, what really ticks them, what they actually want and need, could be a key strategy. Could be change your direction of your strategy.
Absolutely. I could go down the rabbit hole of like that, the benefits of looking after your employees, and even like especially like you sort of like mentioning there that if you don't have kids, it's not worth it. Well, actually, that is the attraction for the people that do want to start a family, and that is a strategy, right?
Yeah.
The strategy is we want to attract young professionals that want to start a family.
Yeah.
So actually, what they're doing is they're creating the future safety and the future, that future place where these aspirational, brilliant people that come out of uni that do want to start a family, they can go and go, right, I'm going to go to this place because I know I can go progress my career. And then when I hit the family phase, they'll look after me and then I can give back. And I know employment cycles aren't that long anymore, but that's still the strategy, right? That
it is
look after people and attract those.
Yeah. And do you know what? Just touch on that. So I say like their policy, and it was a really cool policy. Some of their benefits, I call them, were fantastic. Okay, really good benefits. But what they did was, if you didn't have children anymore and couldn't use it, like the 20 days for it was basically clubs and after school clubs, what they did was you can use those 20 days for education for your teenagers or university students, and if you're a carer looking after elderly couple or your relatives, you can use it on that. So that was great. So it's kind of like we said, that full cycle of going, you attract in your employees, you retain them, and you look after them, and they will stick with you, and they'll become loyal. And that's a good strategy. That's nice. You're saving yourself 20% fees there.
Cool. Love it. Right. So we've done our 5 already, believe it or not. The time has flown. So to recap, so give me the 5. What are the 5 we've got?
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Number 2.
Collaboration.
Yeah. 3.
Communication.
4.
Planning.
5.
Review.
Nice. Okay. That is it. Before we go, are there any final thoughts you want to share with the world, or shall we wish everyone a lovely afternoon and leave them to it?
Always smile and have fun.
Always fun. On that wonderful note, I'll say thank you very much, Alex. Thank you, everyone else.
Thank you for your time.
Have a brilliant day.
Take care.
Cheers.